It's coffee break.
You could put some pizzazz on it that time.
Why would I do that?
Not a normal, it's coffee break.
Fine, we'll do it again.
No.
It's coffee break. Feel better?
No.
Okay.
This is a boring week.
It was a boring week.
Nothing happened. Not a single thing. Remember how last time we said, surely something will happen that'll be more than just Pokemon news that we did last time? No, there wasn't.
Not much.
Nothing has happened. This is really the doldrums, isn't it?
For now, it's just March. It's just now becoming spring in most places.
I guess. Well, soon we'll start getting things that are like announced, like getting hyped and ready for E3 and stuff.
Yeah, but there's been some talk.
Mm-hmm. E3, whatever that's gonna end up looking like this year.
The big guys aren't going, so I don't...
Hopefully that means we get more news steadily throughout several weeks, rather than a million things all at once.
It'd be so funny if in the middle of E3, Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo were like, why don't we just pop it off one after the other?
Yeah.
So no one watches E3 and we all just watch
They all just go
their
there.
own conferences.
Nice. That would actually be hilarious. Not gonna lie.
Just to further prove the point that you're nothing without them.
E3 is just dead at this point.
But no. E3 should be really all those indie kind of guys, you know?
Yeah, I guess. But also, so many like indie games make it to those consoles, and those developers have indie spotlights regularly.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
Maybe it's more for companies that haven't been bought out by other companies.
Maybe it's gonna do like
That sounded dumb.
like a reversion back to how it used to be, where it's just for like other developers and like business people to get funding and whatever. It's gonna go back to that.
That would be nice. To be a private convention that we get to like read about.
Yeah. Rather than getting all these like half-baked, all overdone MV trailers with no gameplay.
Whoa. Don't talk about the next Elder Scrolls like that. Yet to see anything. I'm sure it'll be on its way.
Yeah, another 5 years. After they release all the next-gen consoles and then put Skyrim on all of those as well.
Next-gen consoles.
It's weird that we're already talking about it.
We should be talking about it.
Like, I think back to, like, the PlayStation 3 and, like, the Xbox 360, I think it was.
Yep.
They were around for, like, a decade. And now, you know, the Switch just turned 6 this year.
That, I was going to bring that up, is, so you don't need another PlayStation.
No.
There's rumors that a PlayStation Slim, PlayStation Pro are going to be announced this year.
Okay. Didn't they already have that, though?
No, they're going to rip out the hard drive, the disk drive.
Okay.
So all models will be digital.
Okay.
And apparently there's a problem if you stand it up. You know how it's supposed to have its fins out?
Mm-hmm.
I lay mine down.
Kaiba with his jacket and Yu-Gi-Oh! Yeah.
And when you stand yours up like that, especially my model, the coolant will actually destroy the hardware.
Oh, well that's such a 10 out of 10 design. What a great feature.
Hey, remember, they spent millions and asked this one kid from California to help them do it.
And barely anybody has one still.
You can buy them now.
Yeah. Just in time for them to become outdated.
Yeah, if you're going to buy a PS5, wait this summer. There's so many rumors at this point that it seems very clear that Sony is going to create this next PS5 kind of thing.
Yeah, PS5 Plus, you know.
No, it's the PS5 Plus Plus.
PS5.1.
Now, Xbox, Microsoft, they've kind of abandoned the console idea.
They have.
And it's kind of a smart choice. They are the ones who gave up the console wars.
Yeah. I mean, it was their game to lose, let's be honest.
It was. They did start this fucking fight. And it's really just their fanboys. Anyways.
Yeah.
They decided to stick with the Master Race.
Do they have it? Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, technically, Microsoft always had two horses in this race.
Yeah.
With PC and also Xbox. And PC is infinitely more popular and more customizable than an Xbox ever was.
I will always make fun of the Master Race, but the truth is, the optimability of building your own tower versus my stupid PS5
Yes.
they're gonna be infinitely better.
Also, I understand. Like, it's so you can mod things.
Yeah.
And also, like for, like, Let's Players or whatever, streamers, you know, you have to jump through a lot of hoops usually to capture your footage, especially at a good quality, off of a console. Where if your PC can run it, it's right there.
Yep.
No extra HDMI cords and stupid shit.
Which is dumb because the console is quintessentially a processing hardware
Yeah.
to display an image. Mm-hmm. No different than a computer. It's just limited in its ability.
And you can upgrade a computer.
You can upgrade your graphics card. You can upgrade your RAM.
You change your CPU, all whatever.
And now all of a sudden you got this thing that can totally easily process everything that's going on in the game. Mm-hmm. But Microsoft and Sony, because Sony just had the PS5 relatively, and people are just now starting to get their hands on them.
Yeah.
Big fuck up there.
Yeah.
But the Switch.
6 years.
And I was thinking about it, and I was going through it in my head, and I was like, I've had this console for a while.
Yeah.
And we've had it for so long that there's a Zelda sequel.
Yeah.
And the last time they did an actual Zelda sequel like this,
it was
Majora's Mask for the Nintendo 64.
And that, there's a lot of differences between Majora and Tears of the Kingdom in terms of development and time. You know, Majora's Mask came out like within a year.
Yeah. Breath of the Wild's Tears of the Kingdom. Mm-hmm. My bad. It's a massive map, and now it's going to get even bigger.
Yeah.
Because you're ascending.
Yeah.
I wonder if you got a Skyloft in this one.
That'd be really cool, actually.
It would make sense.
That would make it... I would be infinitely more charmed by the game.
And you just have to, like, revitalize the Master Sword.
That'd be cool. But no, like someone... It was Space Hamster, if anyone knows about Space Hamster. He's a YouTuber for years and years and years. He had a tweet...
Is he a hamster that's in space?
No. He's a man named Jeff.
Okay.
But he had a tweet, and it was favorite 6 games to celebrate 6 years of the Switch. And it was like the most it was like Smash Bros, Mario Odyssey, Breath of the Wild, you know, Mario Kart. It's just like these were the big games, and it's just the same games. It's like Splatoon or whatever.
Yep.
And it's just like, damn, not even like some variety with the console, you know, because I was looking at the Switch games we have, and I'm like, yeah, it's a lot of just the same things.
Yep.
Over and over again.
Makes you wonder, because they do one Mario Kart per console. They do one Smash Bros per console. They do...
This is the first time they've had 2 generations of Pokemon on one console. Am I right? No. This is one of the few times they've had 2 generations of Pokemon on one console. No, wait.
Pokemon being on a console is brand new.
No, I mean like one system. Like, because there was Sinnoh on the DS, and also Black and White on the DS.
And Black and White 2.
Black and White 2. That's not a new generation, though. That's just a reboot.
Then it was Gen 6 and Gen 7.
Yeah, on the 3DS.
Yeah, and now we have 8 and 9 on the Switch. No, Nintendo, what I'm saying is I think it's time for them to come up with something new. It needs to be the Switch. The Switch, there's nothing wrong with it besides the goddamn drift.
Yes.
But, and its battery life.
They keep doing this thing, and I don't know why, where they're making games with, like, huge, overpowered, like, mega graphics and gigantic maps and a million things happening. And it looks like, you know, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, where they're like, yeah, it's passable, but it's also ugly compared to, like, Nintendo's usual standard.
Playing Violet, and now going back, I am replaying Breath of the Wild, getting ready for Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah.
And I have talked mad shit. I still love Zelda. I'm not enjoying playing Breath of the Wild again.
No. You keep asking me things, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't remember how any of this.
Yeah, I have
works.
to do a lot of like looking it back up. Like, what am I supposed to do?
I hate.
If one of you guys say I have to save the kingdom, I'll kill someone.
Rescue the princess.
Really? No, gigantic, massive, empty worlds.
Yes, it's the emptiness. Like it was like I got so bored with Legends Arceus because I was just running around and I was like, it's just there's nothing to do. And I kind of hate that with Scarlet and Violet, and I knew I was gonna have a problem with it. It's seeing the Pokemon in the overworld rather than the random encounters in the grass.
Yep.
If I can see it and run around it, I don't stop. I just keep going. You know.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes it really boring, actually, if you're not continually fighting in a game that's designed for fighting.
It's true.
So, I don't know. I think Nintendo needs to take a few steps back. And also, we were talking about this yesterday, I think, where I opened up Smash Bros. And I was just looking at the roster. And so many of those characters don't have games. Like, where's Captain Falcon's latest game? Back on the GameCube?
Yeah, that was the last F-Zero we got.
You know?
A lot of them, they get lost. Star Fox should have never been lost.
Yeah, Metroid also.
What?
Metroid.
What's that?
Yeah.
But
Also
for $40, you can buy that old one that came out in like 2002.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Mm-hmm.
And the worst, and the thing that like gets me is they made Splatoon like these young guns, real new, fresh faces, and they were really taking a chance on making a new property, something completely different, and it worked. Huge success.
Yep.
And I was like, great, this means maybe Nintendo will start doing new things. And nope. They won't.
Yeah, but now they have this cozy contract with Microsoft for Call of Duty.
Yeah, that's so weird.
So, you know what I was thinking when I was playing my Switch? I was like, God, I need a realistic first-person shooter where I'm killing the terrorists of America.
Yeah.
Yeah, very family-oriented.
Good job, Nintendo.
Okay. We've had some Disney live-action trailers for upcoming films this year.
Yes.
We haven't talked about them
I think we've mentioned them here and there.
here and there, but we just watched them because I was like, okay, if I got nothing, then I guess I'll pick on them.
Yeah, and I think they both dropped new trailers this week.
Yes.
It's hard to tell these days because, like, the first one we watched was definitely not an official trailer. I thought it was for a good chunk of it.
It said it was for Disney Plus. It was a teaser for Disney Plus.
Oh, was it? I don't know.
That's what it said.
It was using like old Ursula's voice,
That
and
was
some of
weird.
those shots I don't think are from the movie, where their like fins look more like
Frills.
yeah. I don't know. It was weird.
The Little Mermaid, of course, is the first one
Yep.
we're going to talk about. And then the next one is Peter Pan and Wendy,
Yeah.
which is Peter Pan.
It looks awful. It looks really bad.
Which one do you want to really talk about first?
Let's start with Little Mermaid because that's been around longer.
Okay.
That's the problem. There's just nothing to say about it. Like it looks like the Little Mermaid.
I want to see more of Ursula.
Yeah, I was disappointed with how little we got.
Melissa McCarthy's playing her, which is an interesting choice. Not a wrong choice in my thoughts.
No, I think that could be a really good choice.
Makes sense. She's a fun actress.
Yeah.
And she could easily play that nasty, gross octopi thing.
Very like proud.
Yeah.
You know, she holds herself like she is sexy. You know.
Ariel, I know people have a problem with her skin tone.
Oh my god.
I'm not going to go into that because I don't give a fuck.
It's
What I do have a problem with is how shitty she actually looks when she's underwater.
it's the CG
Over her face.
does not look good in either of these trailers. In any of Disney's live action movies, let's be honest.
There's literally a shot of her like twirling in the water
yeah.
and lands on like
Jellyfish, and I'm like, no, you're gonna get stung. Get away.
But when you look at her, you're like, it's all CG.
I hate it. It was the same thing with Pinocchio, you know? It's live action which means like 1/10 of what you see in the film is actually from a live action person, and then the rest of it is just all horrid CG that does not look real. It's all too saturated, and they don't have like good shading or lighting effects. The Little Mermaid is a weird choice, I'm gonna say, because I feel like you would have done it when you really truly mastered water as like
Yeah, they
an
did.
animation CG effect.
Avatar Way of Water.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm not a fan of The Little Mermaid, honestly. Like the original story. Well, the original, I am. Like the original Disney animated movie. I'm not a huge fan of it.
Yeah, it was never one that piqued my interest. I've seen it a couple dozen times.
I've
But-
seen like a few. Like a handful.
I saw it more, mostly because my little sister.
Yeah.
But it's not that great of a story.
It's not.
It doesn't have everything. Like Tarzan. Let's look at Tarzan. Mm-hmm. Okay. Which is at the end of the Disney Renaissance.
Which I feel like would be way better as a live action movie.
It would make way more sense.
I think it would be easier to do the CG mixed with the live action, just like the Jungle Book, you know?
Yeah.
Except rather than small boy, it's large man.
Well, he would be a boy and then grows up to be the adult. But Tarzan, its story, Disney's story of it, has death, sex.
Sex?
Well, there's love interest, right?
Oh, okay.
There's sex appeal, I guess.
I'm like, I don't remember that part.
Drama.
Yes, lots of it. It's thrilling. We watched it recently, like a few months ago.
Did we?
We did. I think you fell asleep.
Oh, okay.
I was enthralled the whole time. I heard Phil Collins sing "Son of Man," and it hooked me.
Yeah, I want to know. But it has all its comedy,
Yes.
the sincere moments, darker moments. These things that are running through it. Mm-hmm. Tarzan's trying to save his own tribe.
It's about finding yourself, family
Well-
versus found family,
While learning about the evils of white men.
adoption. Yes, that too.
And then
I am gonna say,
Little Mermaid,
yeah.
in its story, you have drama, potential death,
Yes, it is.
and
It gets pretty
little,
cool at the end, the very, very end. when
little
there's-
girl with her knickknacks. She's just a hoarder under the sea.
She is. I think people relate to her because she displays signs of like ADHD, which I get it. You know, I understand. She's fine. You know, she doesn't bother me. She's not bad, but she doesn't intrigue me much. Prince Eric also fine. Not even a prince.
Oh, no, see,
he is
yeah.
not a prince. He's
There's-
just like a seaman, a sailor.
There's a big problem right there. Eric, that character,
Yeah, he's.
he doesn't do anything.
They are both just nice people. Like
They're young, pretty people who fall in love.
Yes.
That's the story.
they're like Instagram models. Mm-hmm. You know, they're influencers. If they were real, if we did a modern remake, they would be influencers. They would be the ones who would stop the lunch line in the middle of high school to sit there and do like a wackadoo TikTok with each other that no one likes.
Yeah, pretty true. There's still, for how close this movie is, which comes out in May, there's not enough to go on. Other than, you remember the classic? We've redone it.
It's this, except her fin is blue now. It's bluish, much more blue than green, which I am disappointed by.
She was green in some iterations, though.
Yeah.
They've gone back to redo it. And sometimes she's blue, like in the VHS tape. Well, in the DVD, she's green.
I think it only looked blue because of the aging.
Probably. The aging of the tape.
I'm disappointed in the lack of green. I liked the green. It looked good with her red hair. And I think it would look good even with her black hair, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Also, I wish she had red accents, just to, like, invoke the vibe, like red earrings.
That is one
or
thing.
a red seashell bra, or whatever.
That's one thing that I kind of got confused about. Was swapping out a redhead for a black woman.
That happens a lot. It's something people have noticed, and smarter people than I have talked about it. It's like Starfire was a redhead, and then they made that live action Teen Titans, and now she's a black woman. Like, she still has red hair. Bo from She-Ra was a ginger man, but then in the remake, he's a black man. And there's this thing about turning redheads into black people that's common in, like, media.
I wonder if it's to...
Some people...
Hear me out on this one. To evoke exotic?
Maybe.
Because redheads are not... They are not natural people, okay?
I think...
No, what happened there was their genes got mutated through weird natural selection, where they have very fair skin, typically,
Yeah.
red hair, and green eyes. And
Yes.
it's just a mutation of their genes.
Like the perfect aligning of that, what's that chart where that, like your gene lining up, the when you get some genes from your mom and some genes from your dad, and whatever history of genes you got from their ancestors, it like perfectly lines up. And if you get enough of them, then a whole bunch of people can look like that.
Ideally. But yeah, it's kind of weird because that being a redhead is kind of cool. You know, there's nothing wrong with it.
I feel like she could have also still been a redhead, you know?
Yeah.
Like I think it would still have worked. I don't think, but whatever. Who cares? I don't know.
Now, the one that really bothered me was Peter Pan and Wendy.
It does look really bad. Like, The Little Mermaid looks not amazing, but inoffensive, similar to the original animation. Peter Pan and Wendy looks just horrible.
Felt so Narnia-esque.
It did.
And they looked like shit flying in the sky.
They really did. That shot where they leap off of the tower with the clock.
Yep.
And it's like, "Gah," and I'm like, this feels like a bad Disney. Like, you remember that stint of like really horrible movies that weren't usually from Disney but were meant to mimic the feeling of it? Feels like that.
Yeah.
Like when people just figured out CGI.
Jude... Well, I was going to say, Hook.
Yeah.
Captain Hook, played by Jude Law.
Yep.
Jude Law is a great actor.
Sure is.
But he always makes me a little uncomfortable.
Why?
It just always made me uncomfortable.
Okay.
He never looks the same.
That is true. He's one of those, like, ever-changing faces. It's like,
His real face is Dumbledore.
Yeah.
That's what he really looks like.
And he doesn't look like that here.
No, he doesn't.
It's weird. Well,
He also looks fat.
he looks really old, which I think is confusing.
Peter Pan looks like he's an Indian kid.
Yes.
Which I was like, okay.
He looks familiar, but I couldn't figure it out. He doesn't sound British, I will say. Everyone sounds like a natural Brit, except for Peter. Peter doesn't sound very British. People don't like Tinkerbell. You'll never guess why.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
It's the same reason they can't stand the idea of our mermaid being a different race either.
Again, they went ahead and made this change. I don't think it's as pivotal towards Tinkerbell as...
Yeah, the biggest thing with
Ariel
was just I wish they kept red in the design or
Yes.
gave her red hair. With Tinkerbell, I don't really... I'm not bothered, but I wish she doesn't feel like a fairy. Because she just feels like a woman that they're green screening into the scene.
Yeah.
I wish there was like a glow to her. Or like even just like fucking plaster glitter all over her. Give her crazy fairy makeup, you know? Like shiny leaves on her eyes, which we can all see is just makeup, but it makes her look really different from all the other people standing around.
Here's a really frustrating thing. To me, at least. Little Mermaid, we have no real live action thing to base it off of. Or go, hey, there was a story of mermaids that was live action that was really well done.
What
right?
That one? Wasn't there one about a girl who was a mermaid?
What are you talking about?
No, I guess not. There was definitely a live action Disney movie about a mermaid, wasn't there?
Oh, Splash?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was so old.
Oh, I've never seen it.
It's when Tom Hanks isn't Woody yet.
Oh.
Like, he's just a kid.
I just makes me think of Smart House. like that era.
No, it's before that.
Woof. But yeah, the problem, like...
But with Peter Pan,
immediately.
you have one source. A 2.5-hour film that came out in the early 90s?
2000s?
90s.
90s, yeah.
And directed by Steven Spielberg, nonetheless.
And it's still beloved.
Starring Peter Pan,
Yep.
which is Robin Williams.
The great.
And Hook being Dustin Hoffman.
Which is a phenomenal Oh my god, that's fucking... It's so funny. When he's like, Smee, I'm gonna do it! I'm gonna do it! Stop me, Smee! And he's like getting ready to kill himself.
Stop me, Smee! Don't you stop me, Smee! He's just holding a gun to his head. You also get the saying bangarang from the movie Hook. Hook.
We don't have that here.
Hook.
This looks really bad in comparison. Like
It does, and it's like, you should have used that. And almost everything in that movie's practical.
I was annoyed we didn't once hear a rooster call from any character. No one called out like a rooster. I was annoyed.
No bangarangs.
Nope, nothing. All the Lost Boys just are the Lost Boys.
And they're not even boys anymore.
Which I'm fine with that, whatever. It kind of ruins the point of the second movie. But whatever, I doubt they care about the canonicity of Peter Pan 2.
Yeah, I don't...
The one with Wendy's kids.
So where does this all start and stem from? And I was trying to figure that out. And I blame Tim Burton.
Yeah?
For making Wednesday.
Alice in Wonderland?
Alice in Wonderland. And then, well, I went back further and I was like, hold on. There was a time when Disney made a really good trilogy called Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah. This also just made me... Because everything with, like, the stupid kids in the beginning, zero interest. I don't like child actors, for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
They are just wandering around in a forest. But then the pirates showed up, and I was like, pirates! Whoa, cool! And then I immediately thought of Hook and then Pirates of the Caribbean, and I'm like, well, there you go. There's just two films I could rather watch instead.
Yeah. And it's just crazy, because, yeah, there's another film franchise you can look at that's literally Disney and go, this is how they did pirates back in this time, right?
It was a long time ago. And it looks better.
They were pushing the CGI. I remember watching the trailer for Curse of the Black Pearl, the first one. Mm-hmm. And they were coming up out of the water in the night. And there's skeletons.
It's creepy.
And it said Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl coming out this summer, right?
Yeah.
And I looked at my parents and I was like, that looks really cool. And they're like, yeah, that looks fun. It's an awesome movie.
Yeah. And it's like over a decade old now. And
it
looks better than this crap.
Look at that movie. It has all the same stuff I was saying Tarzan has. Mm-hmm. It's like... just... Oh,
I know.
It's so frustrating.
And I know it's hard to do practical effects when your main cast is primarily children, like how Peter Pan and Wendy's going to have.
Mm-hmm.
But also, you can. We've seen it.
Yeah.
There are tons of films, including Hook, that has primarily practical effects with children actors. You can do it. It looks better.
So, before we move on from Disney, if you wanted to see a live-action remake of one of their classic animated films, what would it be?
I think... Oh, it's tough. I think they could have fun with Hercules. I think Lilo and Stitch would be really neat to see.
Both of these are on their way.
But what I really have always wanted is Hunchback. I want to see them push even further than they did last time.
It would have to be a Fox Searchlight film.
Yeah, I highly doubt they'll
Or just go get Roger Eggers.
True.
Which might be a little too intense.
But I think they could do it. I think it could be fun. But I'm not going to hold my breath.
My favorite Disney movie is Hercules. But I also know the Russo brothers are working on it. So, what would be the next craziest thing that I think you can definitely do with today's technology? Treasure Planet.
Wow. Yes.
It's been forgotten, which I found sad.
I think, and I feel like even with Disney's not amazing CG, that could work in favor of Treasure Planet in certain scenarios.
If you're gonna do a sci-fi story about a boy looking for treasure on different planets, what franchise do you look to for inspiration?
Star Trek? Star Wars? Any of the stars?
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh.
But,
I guess that makes sense.
And it would have that drama and fun and...
I would want the robot to be practical, though. I would want all practical effects if they could.
I would make...
But especially that robot that was voiced by Martin Short.
Yeah, so Benny, I would make Benny... it's Benny, right?
I think so. I just think the robot that was voiced by Martin Short. I don't remember anybody's names. I looked up one of their names, like, last week. Already forgotten. It was the one that's voiced by Niles from Frasier.
That's a good sitcom. Mm-hmm. But I don't think this is the audience to talk to about it. If you're looking up good sitcoms and you're just kind of bored, check out Frasier. But it's probably not... I don't know.
I think it's... Yeah. It's just a smart sitcom. That's the difference.
Yes.
It's not pratfalls. It's dry wit and good, like biting words. You know?
Great dialogue. Mm-hmm. Silly action.
Yes.
So we did it.
We did it.
We did it.
We finally did it.
It took me over a year. But
wow,
I
it's
did
been
it.
over a year?
I sat down and watched Madoka Magica.
And
or Madoka.
And since we finished Madoka Magica, I watched Doctor Strange 2. That was the deal we made.
Multiverse of Madness.
Was that we wanted each other to watch these things, but both were hesitant and didn't want to because we knew how sad it would get.
And what was funny is at the end of finishing this whole thing off that took over a year, we looked at each other and thought how dumb it was that it took us this long when it's literally the same story.
Yeah, I did not realize it was going to be scarily close in themes and concepts.
Madoka Magica. Wow.
Yeah, it's usually Madoka Magica, long pause of deep introspection.
Just thinking, like, all the things that Homura tried to stop her from doing, and then she finally makes that wish, she just becomes a god.
Yeah.
And destroys the witches. Mm-hmm. And then almost, like, resets the whole playing field.
She rewrote all of history where magical girls wouldn't become witches. Mm-hmm. They would just go to heaven, basically, rather than being forced to become a witch and suffer. Basically just saving all magical girls from hell. Hell.
Yeah.
Quotations hell. And yeah, it's deep.
Well, Homura and the incubator left behind. They kept going at the end.
Yeah, because she didn't die yet.
Yeah.
And she wasn't going to. She wasn't going to waste Madoka's wish like that. It's tough. It's crazy.
So, Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange.
The Illuminati.
It was as painful as I expected it to be. Even more so. Not as gory, but just as painful.
It is still pretty gory.
It's kind of gory. It was terrifying, though. As a movie, there was a moment, it's when she's, like, hobbling. And
yeah,
I'm like,
I told you.
This is just a rather short, middle-aged mom walking around in, like, her night clothes. Like just a sweater and then, like, mom jeans. And I'm like, this is, like, in theory, should be the least threatening person on Earth. And she was terrifying. It's when they close the door and they stop and they're waiting to see if she's still following behind them. And you expect her to, like, tear through the metal door. But instead she just, like, comes out from the side of the camera. And I'm like, oh my god. Sam Raimi, you bastard. But it was amazing. It was super fun. That was the most fun I've had with a Marvel movie in a long time.
So wait, is it your favorite Phase 4 film?
No.
Shang-Chi still
Yes.
Is it your second?
Yes.
Yeah, see? There we go. Mm-hmm. That was a really good movie.
It was.
I was like, this is weirdly too good for a sequel.
I'm really excited to now watch the, like, hour and a half long behind-the-scenes stuff for it.
Oh, dude, it's great.
Hell yeah.
If you guys haven't seen it, it's a special documentary on Disney Plus.
I really love the new trend, and Disney's been a big push for this,
Doing documentaries on their things.
of showing a bunch of behind the scenes things for their shows and movies. I love it. I think it was fascinating.
The coolest part of this one is you can tell who directed it,
Yeah.
and your narrator is
Wow.
wow.
Aegon. He waited for the exact moment to interrupt you.
I'm not happy with you, dude.
Who's the narrator? Oh wait, let me guess.
It's Pizza Guy.
It's Ash versus the Evil Dead.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bruce Campbell.
A treasure. A charm. One of the sweetest. Best people.
It's pretty cool.
He's great. I love him. Cracks me up.
Okay, so I watched you play Wolf Among Us,
Yes.
episode 1 and 2.
Yes. Because the second game, Wolf Among Us 2, was supposed to come out this year, but they pushed it to next year. And so, in a salty state of spite, I decided I just want to play the first one all over again.
Now, watching it, okay, it's a murder mystery.
Yes.
Of course, I'm going to get into it.
I knew you would.
But that's not why I wanted to talk about it. Logistically, it makes no sense to delay the sequel for 1 year. Especially when you find out why they're doing it.
It's because they want to move it to what is it?
They're using Unreal Engine 4,
Yeah.
and they want to port it over, or
To Unreal 5.
I don't know if port is the right word there.
We don't technology babble, techno babble. Moving it from 4 to 5.
Here's the thing, if you were ready for your deadline initially, oh, so sorry, initially for this year, then why would you waste the manpower and budget to go to 5? Unless 4 had flaws.
I imagine it was that, because I was telling you about this a little bit. So the first one, Wolf Among Us, came out on the PlayStation 3 originally. And even though it looks like it's a pretty basic animation style, it has a lot of things going on with all this shading and lighting effects. But by all means, it looks like it should be pretty basic. It was riddled with glitches. There was always something going wrong. In one of the scenes, faces not doing things right. Certain events, like the version I had, there's a scene where you're talking to Mr. Toad, and if you threaten him, you'll scare his son. But if you don't, then you won't. In the version I had, it didn't matter what you did. It would always play out the scene where it acts like you're threatening him.
Mm.
And so it makes me think there's a lot more intricate things going on that we just can't see. And maybe Unreal 5 would fix it. It's because you can already tell they're pushing things for 4, on 4 with the next one. So I assume. Also, maybe this way, your differing choices would matter more. Because I've played the game 3 or 4 times now. And so I know what actual little impact your choices really have on certain story events. So maybe this way, they're trying to make it a bit more robust, with your different choices having really big impacts across the story.
Yeah, so it functions better.
Yeah.
Okay. That whole time you were talking, I was just watching this psychopath.
I don't think they could hear him. I don't think the mic picked it up. But I could hear him just, squirming like a worm, rubbing his face on the carpet.
He's literally just throwing himself upside down, just wiggling around.
That means he's happy. That means he's happy. Think he's doing it for attention?
Oh, yeah. And it's getting mine.
Little baby dogs.
New episodes this week
Yes.
of the shows that only we want to watch.
People are watching South Park. I've heard several people talking about how great this season of South Park is.
Okay, South Park, we're going to start off. This is season 26. I know it's a lot. There's a huge gap in me even watching this thing. Mm-hmm. But ever since the pandemic and the lockdown to today, right?
Yeah.
And that's when I started actually watching South Park again. They started telling stories in shorter seasons instead of doing 20 episodes per season like they started out doing.
Yeah.
They've been doing like 6 to 8, and then 2 movies at the end.
Yeah, which I've been enjoying their movies.
It's nice, especially after we've already seen the seasons. We're just going back to watch the movies, and they are telling a story.
They're
But
very smart.
for this season, every episode of all 3 of them have been just bangers and mash.
And just like more funny, more witty than usual.
Inappropriate.
Which I didn't think they could do. And like really hammering home on like real topics that should be discussed.
The first one is about Kanye West and his appearance on the... What's that asshole's name?
Oh, which one? Like Tucker Carlson?
No, the worst one. He's making the frogs gay or whatever.
Oh, I don't... Alex Jones?
Yeah, whatever. That loser.
That
So they're making fun of Kanye for the horrific dipshit things he says, right?
Yeah.
The second one is making fun of Prince Henry and his wife.
Yeah.
Which they go on the...
They're It's the Canadian prince and princess.
obviously not to get too tongue-in-cheek about it, but what was it called? Their worldwide privacy tour.
Yeah, that's stupid shit.
So a worldwide privacy tour, which they call privacy.
Yeah.
And then they just scream and yell at everyone as they're like filming them and taking pictures. It's the worldwide privacy tour.
We want our privacy. As they march out in public and make fools of themselves.
So they move in next door to Kyle in South Park because they think that that's a quiet place. And then they just cause mayhem.
Yeah.
And Kyle's just like, can't hang out with his friends playing video games because he's got to deal with the prince and the princess just being so annoying next door.
Buddy.
And then the newest episode was about bidets.
Yeah.
Toilets that instead of using toilet paper, you just use water.
And it was more on a commentary on how, like, we should talk about how toilet paper is not actually that great of a cleaning method.
Yep. And they drop some real facts on you in that one.
Yeah,
and they even point out to the evil corporations that want you to keep buying toilet paper.
Yeah, because they profit off of it.
And there's even a point where Randy Marsh, Stan's dad, is talking about you don't have to be able to afford the luxury toilets with touchpads. They make all sorts of these things for anybody to use, and that this is the more obvious way to go about it.
And then he gets shot.
Well, I wasn't going to spoil it, but it's funny, and it's really, meta?
Yeah, I don't know about meta. It just, like, that's the thing with, like, it seems like it's presenting you a topic that is foolish and vague and weird, but then they always, like, tie it back into something that's actually important. Like really actually important. Like, their Streaming Wars movies.
Yep.
Which is presented like, it's really dumb. It's like getting water to the farms.
When you think streaming wars, you're going to think of online streaming services battling for content. What they actually did was about water rights.
Yeah. Which was really smart, because then they also like periodically thread in things that do comment on like the streaming websites and stuff.
Yep.
But it's mostly about water.
It was really funny.
It was really smart. Gross, but smart.
What do you mean gross?
What do you mean gross?
It's not a gross show.
In part 2, yeah, it got gross.
Next one up is The Mandalorian, Season 3, Episode 1.
Jeez, Egg, get out of here. Baby.
Go. No one loves you. 2 years it took for us to get to this point.
Yeah.
And...
You know, you told me that they only planned for 2 seasons.
And it's obvious.
And it really feels like it. Just like they have no idea what to do. It's just a cash cow now.
And, I've had people argue with me about this and say horrible things on Twitter.
Yeah, that one guy.
But he still hurt my
upsetty.
feelings. Because I really wanted to tear him a brand new one. Them, I guess. I don't know. But here's the thing. Jon Favreau has come out and said that Book of Boba Fett gave him time to figure out how to rework Season 3. And it's like, yeah, I can tell. You hit a dead end, and then you just made up this bullshit story that we're now going to have to deal with for the next 2 seasons.
I think it's bad that they don't even address Book of Boba Fett at
Nope.
all. Like, if you didn't watch Book of Boba Fett, it would literally just be, goes Grogu. He is gone. Season 3 starts. Oh, we're right back to our normal shenanigans.
Yeah.
We're back together. We got a new ship.
Also,
Normal
no
shenanigans.
explanation of time skipping.
Yeah, it's been like 2 years
Yeah.
in universe or something like that.
In universe, but we're just supposed to accept that without any real indication other than set change.
Yeah, so like Navarra, is that what it's called?
Yeah, I think it's Navarro.
It's like it went from being this like tiny little like
Desolate canteen town.
and now it's like this big, bustling, huge, big old trading center. And it was just like, oh, okay.
Yep.
I guess that happened overnight.
They wrote out Kara Kaji.
That crazy turf lady.
Yeah, so they wrote her out. She used to work for the High Republic. That was her character. Mm-hmm. Carl Weathers' character, the mayor of the town.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name right now.
I don't, like they said Navarro, and I was like, okay. And then later I was like, oh yeah, this is supposed to be what I'm supposed to remember.
He offers Mando the job of being sheriff of the place. And Mando goes, why don't you just get the High Republic? And he has this off comment about how he doesn't trust the High Republic because they're full of themselves.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, that's how you wrote that character out?
I guess. It seems like they just don't know what to do.
Grogu was there for the sake of you having eye candy
Yeah,
or something cute to buy in merchandise.
The show is just 2 things now. Well, 3 things. 1, Grogu being cute.
Yep.
2, vague space action.
Yep.
3, Mando does something charming. That's it. That is all it is.
Also, every damn monster they show us is just a dinosaur.
And they keep, like, and I don't, it just, I need to go back to my planet because I need to become part of my order again. It's like, okay, do you have to? Is this the only place you can find Mandalorians?
This is the way.
This is the way. I'm like, does it really change anything other than, all right, sure, if you're dedicated to it, let's do it. I need to go, and I have to bring this very specific android with me. Why? Because he was cool for, like, an episode.
Yep.
Which I did not remember. And I was like, there's a million... We walked past, like, 7 different droids on the way to this one. And then they're like, oh, this one's broken.
That's part of the dialogue, too. He's like, you could have chose any other one.
Like, but it has to be this one. And now we're going on a dumb quest to fix their broken droid that we can't pick a different one.
Yeah. If you guys are enjoying it, fine, enjoy it. I'm going to keep watching it. But the thing is, I can tell that it's just written to entertain you and suck your money away.
Yeah, just an excuse.
There's no love that the first 2 seasons had.
Yeah, it's just an excuse to keep making merch.
That's it.
Yeah.
We're just going to drag this thing out until you guys finally decide you're fed up with it.
Yeah.
So it's up to you as the viewers to decide that.
I bet it'll get another 2 or 3 seasons.
For sure, it's getting season 4.
Okay.
Animal Control. This weird sitcom-esque Parks and Rec comedy.
It's not like Parks and Rec because there's no like
Funny
interview.
moments?
True. There's no like interview section. It's more like Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yes.
But,
Joel McHale's character is cracking me up.
He's fine.
Hey, he's got some like snarky comments where I'm like, that was rude, but I like that.
Yeah, it's fine. It's doing nothing revolutionary, but it is fine.
Then again, with shows like this, they always struggle in that first season.
They do. I think the weirdest thing is that none of the animals are like real.
Dude, that was weird. So you pointed that out, and then in this new episode, there's a kangaroo.
Yeah.
And there's legitimately a kangaroo cornered into this alley.
Wow.
The kangaroo hops forward to his deputy, the comedian kid,
Yeah.
right? Face-to-face shots, close-ups of the kangaroo puppet.
Damn.
They had a real one. Then they get into a fist fight
Of course.
because it's a comedy, right?
Yeah.
And the kangaroo knocks him down and then bounces away. And the zookeeper grabs his tail and is legitimately escorting a kangaroo, a live kangaroo, away from the scene. And I was just like, why?
It's so weird.
Why
like,
did you do this?
They even had like a small pack of bunnies, and even then it was just like shot of bunnies, different shot of them. Like clearly, like they could not film the characters and the bunnies in one scene.
Can I point out this thing of Killer Bunny?
Yeah.
Stop copying one of the greatest movies ever made.
You will never be Monty
If
Python.
you want to show somebody the Killer Rabbit, go make them watch that movie. Then you will understand comedy. It is a great way to be introduced to it.
So funny. Oh my god. That movie like starts and you're like, nothing about this is funny. Nothing about this is funny. As it goes on, it just gets funnier and funnier.
The craziest thing is the rewatch value.
Yes. There's so much to see on a rewatch.
Especially once you know the ending, and then you go back to the beginning, and you're just like, this is ridiculous.
Yes.
Everything is so preposterous and overdone.
Want to know a fun fact about the costumes from Monty Python?
What?
All of their armor is actually crocheted because that way it was lighter and easier for them to like move around and
Dance with?
It was faster for them to like make also. And then later I saw a behind the scenes thing of Lord of the Rings of the chainmail makers as they slave away for years make an actual chainmail. I'm like, guys, you should have learned.
Damn. Yeah, but it gives that feeling.
Yeah.
And they're two different tones there. You know, one's about war and the other one's about telling a comedy.
Also, they wanted the light to shine off their chainmail the right way. Whatever.
Yeah, so Animal Control.
It's super impressive. It's not doing much.
It's really not.
It's not the worst, but like, ugh, I'm not itching to watch it.
How I Met Your Father.
Yeah. We've gotten to the point in the week where it's like, oh yeah, we watched it. Like, things happened.
It's crazy. Last week's episode was very good and well done. There were actual moments of sincerity in it. Mm-hmm. This one,
Boring.
schlocky shenanigans.
Just a whole lot of... Hilary Duff gives the same exact performance for every single line of dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just fair. It's not funny.
You know, I saw after we watched this last time, she's an executive producer. And I was like, oh,
Damn.
that's a weird choice.
Like, no one else was going to pay for the shit?
It is its third iteration.
Is it time?
It's time for...
Box office trolls.
I was going to say coffee break, but fine.
Unsurprisingly, topping the charts. The best of the best. It's Creed 3. Woo!
Apparently this is the end of Adonis' story.
Is that his name?
Yeah, Adonis Creed.
Oh. Never thought about it.
Yeah, coming in at 58 million. Jesus Christ.
Hell yeah.
Ant-Man and Wasp: Quantumanium. Mm-hmm. Coming in at number 2.
The other thing with Jonathan Majors in it.
Yep. Cocaine Bear coming in at number 3.
Yay! I've heard nothing about the actual movie. Just that it's fun.
It should be a fun story. Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaba to the Swordsmith Village.
Okay.
Another Demon Slayer movie. Didn't Demon Slayer like destroy theaters during the time of the lockdown? People were actually coming out to watch that one?
I don't think it was Demon Slayer. It might have been. I don't remember.
Or was it like... No, it was Demon Slayer. I'm pretty sure Demon Slayer, like, for some reason, makes a ton of money in the theaters.
I know it's very good. It looks good. The animation's great. I could be. I have no idea.
Jesus Revolution in the 5th one. 6, Avatar: Way of Water.
Boo.
Number 7, Operation Fortune. Ruse de Guerre.
Rudiger?
Rue de Guerre. Ruse de Guerre.
It has we looked it up. It's super star-studded. I've never heard of
It's
this.
a Guy Ritchie film. He's done a lot of other good movies. Most interestingly, Jude Law played Watson in Sherlock Holmes.
Sorry, we stopped to look at the dog to make sure he wasn't doing anything.
This puppy is trouble.
He just wants...
And he's got smelly breath.
He does. He just wants to be right next to the
And
plugs.
he doesn't share pillows when sleeping.
No, he does not. He's only like a foot long, but when you're sleeping, suddenly it becomes a mastiff, and he's huge.
And he's heavy.
Yes.
Number 8, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish.
Yeah.
Number 9, Magic Mike's Last Dance. And number 10, 80 for Brady.
Damn. Well, we managed to make a full hour out of this week of nothing.
Yeah, that was impressive.
Yeah, we didn't. E3 was not a thing we were planning on talking about.
Still, I think it's interesting that it's time for Nintendo to kind of do something new.
Yes, I agree. It's got breathe life into an old, forgotten franchise, or try to be an innovator again.
Last time I did that, they called it Breath of the Wild.
See you next time.
Yep. See you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.